All right, everybody, let's wind up our yoga clock. Stretch out your legs really wide. Stretch out your arms really, really, really wide. And we're gonna go side to side. Here we go. Tick tock, little yoga clock. 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 And freeze! Everybody reach down, all the way down, and wind up your toes. Tickle, 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 tickle. And come all the way up and wind up your knees. Everybody wind up your belly buttons. And wind up your nose. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Okay, we're gonna go again, but this time a little bit faster. Stretch out your arms really, really wide. Here we go, faster. Tick tock, little yoga clock. 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 And freeze! Everybody, let's wind up our ears. And everybody wind up your mouth. And wind up your shoulders. And wind up your hair. Scrunch, 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 scrunch. All right, everybody. We're going to wind up our clocks, but a little bit slower this time. Our clocks need rewinding, so stretch out your arms very slowly. Here we go. Tick tock, little yoga clock. Tick tock, little yoga clock. Tick tock, little yoga clock. Tick tock, little yoga clock.
Okay, that's settle in. I'm going to stop the music now. So we'll talk again. So what I'm trying to share is that when you are, since you are for children's yoga teacher training, and suppose you want to teach children. Now, this basic concept remains same. Obviously, when children get older, you will not do yoga clock song. We will do something else. But the basic essence is that first we have to establish some connections in the class. Connections like you're talking to them. That's one thing, that teacher connecting with the children. Okay. Second is children are connecting to themselves. So they're feeling, okay, this is a good space. I have friends. You feel like a community. Like when you have friends, you feel safe. You feel comfortable. Then you will not do anything disruptive. And the third thing is, are you present here? That means your mind and body are in this one space, right? Now, when you're doing, say, this just example, say yoga clock song, touch your knees, touch your shoulders. So what is happening is you're coming back to your body. So this is what we call it mind-body connection. Is just with children, we have to establish this mind-body connection in a way they can connect, right? So if you are listening to me, but your mind is thinking about, oh, what I'm going to cook later, oh, my child is doing. I mean, I'm not saying it's normal for human beings, it happens. But how do I bring your presence here, right? No, since we are talking about children, and I'm right now talking about younger children, we will keep exploring this, but I'm trying to explain you the concept that if you have to teach them anything, now it can be your school homework, it can be anything. This is here yoga we are talking about. You have to first get attention of children. You have to get their focus. You have to connect them to themselves. So only saying that children sit down, connect to yourself, it doesn't mean anything. Because as when children are younger, like I've studied a lot of child psychology and child development theories also. When children are younger, they're more visual focused. That means they learn more with visualizing things rather than internal, they're more external. Externally you have to teach them, they're not so internal. As they grow older, this external thing become internal, that you can understand. But when they're younger, you don't expect them to keep quiet, sit down. They don't know, actually all these things they don't understand. So you have to use visual schedules, pictures, music, so that they are understanding. So this is a way of learning. Not only yoga, actually they learn everything in this way, right? So this is a very global theory. There is a special there is a special theory by child psychologists called Paget's. So Paget's theory is the same. that the younger children learn by visual. So when they're coming to yoga, they're not some other child. They're the same child who is going to preschool or who is at home. Yoga also is same. So if you understand a broader concept of how this particular age learns, you'll be able to communicate them yoga also. Okay. We're going to go deeper into these theories. This is just a beginning. So I'm just sharing this some concepts that important thing of initiating anything with children is connection. Now, be you are an educator, be you are a parent, be you are a yoga teacher for them. This is an important part and we can't skip it. Okay. You can be the best yoga teacher, you can be knowing many things, you can be very flexible, but everything will fail if this is not coming in. Right? So, this is very important. So, don't forget about this. Even though we move from this topic, this should be ingrained in your head that when you start teaching children, you have to learn to connect with them. So we will explore many things as part of this training. Okay. So, okay, now you wanted to ask me something, Raji? I thought you asked me, you were asking, you're okay? Okay. So cool. Now I'm just going to go about this training. This is an important part of the training also that you know what the training is about. However, I just wanted you guys to settle in, enjoy a little bit, then I'll give you this. Now it's the same thing. When you are going to meet children, you want to teach them suppose yoga poses, you have to first make them happy and make them connected. Now, if I share half an hour theory, maybe you will be fine to listen to me because you feel that okay, now she has connected with us, we are fine, we have done enough of fun, now we can listen, right? So it's the same thing with children. Even though they do 15 minutes, now they're happily doing it because you have established that connection. So even though this theory can be a bit boring, you might still listen to me. But it's important, so I have to share this with you, so I'm going to share this with you now. Yeah, I mean, sometimes text can be a little bit too much, but it's important, so I have to share. Uh, Fine. And throughout the training, we will have this kind of format when I'm speaking and we are doing things also. Later, I will also share as last 10-15 minutes that how you access all the content. So all the content that I share is on the platform. So you can revisit and see this content. So all these decks are there on the platform and also how to access the recording. So that I will share it with you. Okay. Okay. So these are the resources that I create, which you can, which I will share during the training. Yeah, I like to build a lot of e-resources for children. It's my Instagram in case you want to connect with me, Bliss Yoga Kids. You can see everything that I do with children. I document it there. That's my way of sharing. Bliss Yoga Kids. So I think right now we just did some activities. We will keep doing more. Okay. Now I just want to quickly share about this training and it might spill over tomorrow also. Just try to wrap up as much as I can. I already shared it's a training which is a registered training, which is in alignment with accredited body in yoga, which is called Yoga Alliance. So my curriculum is in alignment with what they told. I mean, anyone can create kids yoga teacher training, no harm. But Yoga Alliance will give you some standards of the curriculum. So the curriculum is in with that alignment. So it's globally recognized and registered training. And this training this in the format of the training is, of course, is engaging and fun, and is the same thing. If it mirrors the kids yoga, you will do it with them. It will be engaging. It will be fun. It's interactive. So the throughout the training, if you come in person, you will participate in a lot of things. So I encourage participation unless there is an emergency, because coming in class, obviously you are participating in the live environment. There is a lot of information that I would share as part of this training that will give you a very holistic view about children and yoga and how we blend everything together, understanding children's psychology, their development. Okay. And the training is very holistic. So I want to share what do I mean by holistic also. And it's the same thing, like I say, the format of the training mirrors how you also teach children engaging, fun, doing something meaningful, making your practices holistic, right? So, key components of the training, which you might hear it again and again because I feel it's very important. A is to learn to teach yoga to children in a holistic way. That means maybe you're already doing that, maybe you're already in that phase. Maybe at the end of the training, you might connect to this. That don't just focus on the yoga pose. give them like a life skill, which through yoga you can also help them encourage focus, you can help them manage stress, you can improve help them connect to their breath. So not only physical well-being, you can also help them on mental well-being. I do a lot of research on emotions and yoga, and I've done a lot of resources on that. So I'm going to be sharing a lot about emotional regulation tools through the practice of yoga, like mindfulness, breathing. We'll do that. And I think for children, or maybe for adults also, but definitely for children, this is also a space of social well-being. That means they're coming and meeting other children. Because as children are growing older, one of the thing also is connection with other people. And many children I know face this thing of loneliness, depression, because they don't have much friends. So this is a very community space when they are also having an opportunity to connect with other people through the means of yoga. So social well-being, because we do a lot of group activities, partner activities, teamwork activities that we can do. So we actually cater to every aspect of well-being through yoga. Okay. The second thing about this training that you would hear a lot is like prioritizing your self-care, yourself, I think is very important. Again, before connection is your own self. How do you take care of yourself every day? I think I give a lot of weightage. Like you obviously, like they say, it's cliched, but it's important that you can't take from an empty cup. So you have to fill your cup every day. It's an everyday work that you take care of yourself, and self-care is not selfish, right? So every day we have to spend some time on ourselves. You will also notice, as I mentioned just now very briefly, that no matter we want to share them yoga, breathing, mindfulness, but power of connection, power of being playful, connecting to your inner child is also very important when you work with children. So that again we will talk about a lot in this training. Then understanding this practice not only like a formal kids yoga class, but really if you can take away from this practice that this is also a life skill, this is also a coping mechanism, this is also self-regulation. So how we can teach that to children, and of course first we use it for ourselves also. You will also understand children broadly through this training, that how is 3 years old learning capacity, how is 3 years old cognitive capability? What is their motor skills? What is their emotional development right now? So I've covered this across the age, because before I share teaching techniques, it's very important to understand every age group, because then teaching technique will make sense. If I say you have to take class for yoga for 3 years old, let's start moving, let's do old McDonald, let's do row your boat, then you will not understand why am I saying this. But if you understand the way a 3 year old learn, then the teaching technique will make sense. So that's why children development and children psychology, children learning ability is a huge part of this training across the age, teenagers also. So I've divided it 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, tweens and the teenagers. So first we need to understand them. What is how they're operating, and if you understand that, then teaching technique will make sense. So understanding the physical, cognitive, emotional needs at different stages, then your teaching methods would be adaptive, because you can't teach a toddler in the same way as you will teach a teenager. And that's something when I started my journey, of course, I was not taught this in the training. I explored it on the go. So this is what I've shared in the training is very experiential. However, as part of my education, which I did on child psychology and child behavior, it's also now I notice that whatever I've explored through my experience and observation is actually also a theory. So it gives me, it validates a lot of things that I've experienced as a practical thing. It's actually connected to a lot of theories that the child psychologists also say. So you would learn that also as part of it. Okay, so understanding child development, so these are the key components that you would explore also as part of this training again and again. It's important, I feel. Then the whole training is very engaging. Every day we will do a lot of things that are help you unfold your creativity, help you understand the fun aspect of yoga, like how you can make yoga engaging for children. So there is a framework that I have created, like you can do yoga through storytelling, you can do yoga through games, yoga through music, yoga through themes. You can create a lot of themes. And of course, all of this is age-wise, right? yoga theme for a 3-year-old is very different for a yoga theme for a teenager, right? So they have to understand that connection. Okay, say yoga theme for 3-year-old, okay, Peppa Pig or whatever, Coco Melon or a unicorn, depends on whatever they do, right? So theme is like how you connect to that age group. Now, of course, this I will tell a 8-year-old, 9-year-old, they will feel disconnect. Like, why am I talking? And they will feel, okay, am I still a child? Why is she speaking like that? So you have to understand that particular age, say teenager, what is the kind of theme can be, adventure theme or pre-exam theme or stress management. So that is what I mean, that how do you engage children by means of the themes. So we will talk about the themes in detail. So we have a whole 2-3 days dedicated to just explore how to make yoga fun and engaging. And another reason that we want to make yoga fun and engaging for children is that because I think very important that we want them to have good memory of yoga. Not like, oh my God, yoga is like something like dark room, sweaty, and I had to just listen to the teacher and it was so boring and never do it again. So we want them to have good memories of yoga, like, something that they think they have enjoyed, not like something that was forced to them. So that's why we want to make yoga engaging for children so that they generate interest. And I think one of the biggest takeaway from the training is when teachers complete the training and they say the children were asking when is the next yoga class. So I think that's the biggest success. More than anything, that you're able to generate interest in yoga for your interest in children for yoga, right? I just need to move to another place because I can see my teenager girl. She wants to sit here now. So I'm just going there. Just give me a second. Bye bye. Okay, sorry about it. So, yeah. Yeah, so the training is one aspect of that is that you will learn that how to make things engaging for children so that children look forward to doing yoga and not something, oh my God, yoga again, right? This is one of the very big takeaway for teachers to feel good about their practice that I'm able to generate interest in children. And when students message me that, I think for me that's the biggest happiness that children are asking, oh, when is the next yoga class? Or I have become favorite teacher of everyone. So this is, I think, amazing if we can do that. So I'm going to share a lot of tools how to generate interest in yoga for children and across the age. So we will explore creative ways of breathing, creative ways of mindfulness, creative ways of poses, meditation, everything creatively that we will do it. And don't close your mind on I am not creative because everybody is creative. I will share a lot about that. I think we'll unfold that as we progress. Another thing, if you are an educator or if you are connected to children's education or if you know about your own children, I think across the generally also the sentiment is now I notice even in India, I see that many people are making education like joyful. Learning is becoming joyful. It doesn't mean that children are running around and it's a circus. Learning joyfully means that you are genuinely creating a passion and a curiosity for something, right? So that also is now becoming a sentiment in education as such. People are exploring different ways to make learning fun as such. So fun means like it's engagement. Like when somebody is engaged in the class, then of course they will enjoy in the class, they will have better memory of a particular activity also, right? So that's what I mean. Fun doesn't mean that it's a circus, it's a chaos going on in the class, right? It means that you are generating interest, you're engaging them. And there is a lot of research which I'm reading and I'm seeing a different shift in the education as such that a great learning takes place when the classroom experiences are enjoyable. There is a link between fun in the classroom and the development of good learning, right? So if you are able to do that in yoga also, children will enjoy this practice. So that's something that is just another aspect of making yoga engaging. The training is interactive. So even training is interactive. Like I said, it mirrors how we work with children. Is like when you are with children, also you can interact with them. You don't have to like one serious teacher is sitting here, and when 10 children are sitting, and there is like a invisible wall between you and them, right? So you can interact with them, you can ask them how do they feel, you can talk to them. Then interaction means everybody feels like part of the class, right? So if I interact with you, you'll also feel comfortable. Otherwise, it'll be like, oh my God, another 2 hours now. Oh God. So interaction also will build that connection with children. And for us, for the training is also very interactive, is that we will do a lot of assignments, we will do a lot of journaling, we'll do a lot of class practice. It also will make you involved in the training in a similar way you want to involve children in the class, so you have better engagement and attention for the training and for the children. So don't focus so much on perfection or like being giving the right answer. Is being open to trying something new, thinking on the spot, and children will challenge you, or children will make you do a lot of these things, right? So I want to condition you to be like that, because children can ask you any question. So you don't have to be perfect or fully prepared. Sometimes you just say what you feel is right in that moment, because children are not judging you. Okay, so that's something is very important. That's why. So interactive. The whole training has a lot of education and information. So let me just this part I just want to share here, which is basically I just want to give you a quick info on the modules of the training, right? So this training has got 5 modules. Module 1 is starting today, and module 1 is actually 50% of the training is module 1 only, because that's the foundation. Once you understand module 1, everything will be very comfortable to understand. Okay. So module 1, we are starting today officially. We are talking about the connection, and we will build up more on that. I think we will continue with that tomorrow. But module 1 will also cover, once the connection part is over, we're going to talk about the foundation topic of kids, like, and everything is foundation might sound very like very text, but I would like you to reflect. Okay, if I say, when you're going to go and meet children after the training, how will you explain yoga to children? I'm going to share obviously what I share, but I would like for you to write. And that's where all the journaling comes, right? Because that will keep you involved rather than just listening to my theory. I will share, but I would like for you to reflect throughout the training, throughout. So, foundation topics we're going to cover tomorrow. After that, we're going to talk about the breath. And I think breath is a very important part of our well being, how you use your breath. And I think a lot of us, we don't know, we don't, I would say, tap into the power of breathing as the way it should be, right? If you're a practitioner, you might be doing it. So we are going to talk about that. But most important, how do you communicate this to children? Because breathing for children is very abstract. If you tell children breathe, 5-year-old also asks, why do you keep telling me to breathe? I'm already breathing. Okay. So how do you help children become aware of the breath? And if you, as a practitioner, have explored the powerful, power of breath, you will connect to what I say. And then, but how do you transform this to children? That is the most important part. So we're going to talk about the breath work. I think it'll go for 2 days. Then would come a very important part. So in module 1, we are focusing on the age group from 3 to 8. So we're going to talk about 3 to 8 children in batches of 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 9, like that. I've divided it because similar kind of development there. So we'll talk about the physical development. Physical development will tell you what kind of yoga poses you should be doing it with them, so that the practice is not unsafe, right? If you're not understanding a basic anatomy of 3-year-old, then you will just do anything with them. Like I hear people, I'm just giving an example. Like one of the student came and said that, oh, my 3-year-old child was doing pigeon pose. Now, pigeon pose is a very intense pose. So if you don't understand motor skill of a 3-year-old, you can make them do these things without thinking, okay, nothing is immediate, like nothing will happen immediately. But you should be aware that at what age group, what is their body ready for, so that it's not unsafe and we're not doing anything misaligning their body. So we are going to learn about the physical aspect. The second, we are going to learn about the cognitive, like how the brain is developing at this age and how the emotional development is happening. And everything of this knowledge will help you understand the teaching technique. So we are going to come to age group wise teaching technique for 3 to 8 years old in 3 categories. One is understanding physical, mental, emotional development. Second is how do you design teaching techniques for teaching yoga to all this age group. And the third is we are going to be doing class practice across the age group, right? So we're going to do that. So once that is over, then we're going to switch to for across this age group, although we will do class practice, but how do you make yoga engaging for them? So there is a whole 2 to 3 days dedicated to creativity in kids yoga. So we're going to do a lot of practices then. Once that is over, we are going to be exploring on the main thing why everybody wants yoga for children is eventually everyone wants children to relax. And for children to relax is not like something that you can say, hey, relax, children, because they cannot relax. That's why the journey starts from connection, understanding them, becoming creative. And then we come to this last thing is how do you relax? Now, every child will relax in different ways. When I started my journey 10 days, 10 years back, I used to think Shavasana is the only way to relax. But there are many ways children can relax. Art can be relaxing, music can be relaxing, sound can be relaxing, right? So we will explore different relaxation techniques for children. Okay, so we're going to do that and mindfulness, meditation, relaxation. Then we will also understand about how to structure the class in case you want to teach children yoga. And last but not the least, you can be creative, you can understand them, but you also need to manage them. Now, management of children, sometimes it can be natural to you, or sometimes you have to understand how to manage children because that is also another important part, right? So that's module one. We will have one class reflection, which I will tell you, module one presentation. It's a mandatory presentation, but you don't need to worry. Nobody has failed it as yet, so you will also do it. So we'll do that. Module 2 is very similar to module 1. It's just we are talking about older children in module 2. Okay. So same thing, but we talk about tweens and the teenagers. But the foundation is from the module 1. Module 3 and 4 is one is safety, children's safety, like you know what to do, what not to do also. And we also talk a little bit about how you can use yoga to teach some values to children, like gratitude, compassion, empathy. And actually, it is all documented in yoga philosophy. So it's yoga philosophy is not something religious like you're doing, but if you are in the practice of yoga, it's good to know that yoga is just not about poses and breathing and meditation. Yoga also teaches you non-violence. Yoga also teaches you compassion. Yoga also teaches you kindness, gratitude. So you can, if you want, you can bring in these concepts in your practices of yoga and teach values to children also. Okay. And then we will talk about the next steps. If you want to suppose, think about, okay, after this training, how should I continue my journey? So I have put a little framework that how you can make this journey more useful to think next steps and have a goal. If you don't have a goal after this training, then this training will just become one training for you. But if you will have a goal from this training, then I'm sure with the right intention, you will also spread the joy of yoga. Now, be it to your own children, be it to other children, right? So we will have a little framework and a vision board. We will do it. And then the last day is about the final reflection of older children we're going to do. Okay. So I'm going to just stop here. And yeah, I think I will just say this and then we are going to, I just want to do a little enrollment of all of you on the platform. So we continue with this later tomorrow. So I think the output, you can just think, read these highlights. You don't have to think about whole text. So the first thing is the first output of this training is that, like I said before, generating interest in kids for yoga. The second is making this whole practice that you from this training, if you can make it more holistic and not just limit to physical, which is a benefit, but there are more things that yoga can offer. Third thing is if you can teach yoga as a life skill, that means yoga beyond yoga mat. We are going to learn all these things. Uh, Next thing is how do you explore yoga in also teaching children social emotional learning, that is empathy, kindness, self-regulation. So there are well-being has many aspects. Well-being is not just looking good, it's also feeling good. It's about also learning these values. How do you socially manage yourself? So we'll also explore that. And I think overall, this training is the objective is to really equip you with all the tools, all the techniques that can help you bring yoga to children. Like you feel more confident and you learn all the ways of managing children, all the ways of connecting children to different age groups, and you can help help them benefit from yoga. Okay. as you can see, the outputs that I have written. However, of course, you can have some more outputs from the training. It's the individual journey. As the journey concludes, I mean, through the training, you can learn these things that do you feel comfortable, or do you think that you'll be able to generate interest in kids for yoga through this training? So that's the output. Are you able to learn about the holistic aspect of yoga and not just connect to the physical aspect? Are you able to connect to that these tools that we're learning of breathing, mindfulness? These are just not for yoga mats. We can do this as a lifestyle. So these are the outputs of the training that I expect people can take away. If you're not able to connect to any of these things, of course, you can ask me questions. And if you want to add on more to this, of course, is there anything else you get from this training? Definitely, that is the unique journey. And then the next one is, are you able to connect to other aspects, the values of yoga that yoga also provides us: gratitude, kindness, empathy. So you will see during this training, you are getting these tools and able to make these things available, accessible to children. So this is the output that we expect. However, like I said, if there's anything else you get out of the training, definitely please feel free to share. Okay. Okay, so the structure of the training I just want to share is that structure of the training is there is a lot of practice in the training. So we do more practice. Theory is there, but every theory is supported by practice so that it makes sense, right? I mean, I can say just slides after slide, but I just feel that working with children is more experiential because it's not like one constant line that you will see. It is always you are seeing very dynamic things children do, and every class I'm going, I see different kinds of energies in children. So that's the reason I feel practice is very important as part of this training. So we will keep doing a lot of practice whenever we are doing theory, and I will also share a lot of my experience, like live experience of working with children in the space of yoga. I think that will be helpful, especially I think when we are coming, especially I've noticed when we come from a yoga background, or when we are not used to working with children, we can have a very different expectation from children. But actually, when you are working with children in the class, it's not like constant how you work with adults, because they're children. They can have questions, they can have their requirements, they don't have so much control, they don't have so much social maturity. So, suppose if you're doing sun salutation, it's quite possible one child can say that I don't want to do it, or I want to go washroom. Then you should be able to accept it and it's fine, rather than getting frustrated. That it's not like a vinyasa, ashtanga yoga flow which is going without any disruption. So it's normal that it can happen. So the best is to embrace and accept it rather than getting frustrated. So especially people who come from a very like stronger yoga practice or are very used to teaching adults, they will have slightly more harder time to acknowledge this, because we are so used to teaching adults. Adults keep listening, even they don't want to listen, they can pretend. Children don't pretend, they will just do whatever they have to do. So that's why I share a lot of my experience, so that some of this you can remember, that it's okay to acknowledge this kind of behavior in children because they're children. In this training, you would experience both traditional and modern ways of teaching yoga to kids. When I say traditional, that means, like I was just telling you, that we're not losing the essence of yoga. Yoga is supposed to connect with our body. Yoga is supposed to help us move, release. Yoga is help us to relax, connect our body and mind, get the stillness. So that aspect doesn't change in this training. That is still there. However, like I was just sharing, that to teach yoga to children, we have to understand children. So in that way, I have used a lot of modern ways of, child psychology, developmental stages, learning abilities, and blending it with many creative ways of reaching to children of all ages. So starting from younger age, how you can teach yoga, mindfulness through stories, through music, through games, right? So we are not losing the essence of yoga. We still connect to what yoga has to offer, but we just have to understand how we offer it to children. And that's why we have to add in these layers. We have to understand children rather than sticking to very rigid norms of this is how yoga has to be done, right? When it comes to children, we have to become little flexible. And that's why we have to explore different ways of making this wonderful practice accessible to children. So that's why it's a blend of teaching. Yeah. Then this is a common question which happens, which people ask, is that the standard hours of this training is 95 hours, which is designed by Yoga Alliance. So, but I just also want to share what this 95 hours mean in for the training is like for any yoga teacher training, if you have ever done, there are some contact hours. The contact hours is that means that you spend directly with the teacher, that is me for this training. So I'm the lead trainer, but there are some non-contact hours. Basically, throughout the training, I might tell you some assignments, some very basic assignments like today we are going to be, say, exploring, say, tomorrow we're going to be doing, making a breathing tool. So this is what the breathing tool looks like. You can make it yourself and share it in the training. Okay. So, but the theory and the practice, everything we are doing it in 40 hours. But the next 55 hours is I'm going to guide you through it. So you have to do it, but I'm here to support you. So you can ask me my opinion or any support you need. So that's how we complete. And there's two presentation which I mentioned yesterday, and you will spend some time in researching about it. There'll be some like ongoing assignment that might take some time. So the balance hour goes to that 40 hours we spend together. This particular hour breakup is for the in-class training that I do in Singapore. Okay. I think this is something that you can reflect on. Now, I do understand that everybody has a different intention of doing this training. Not everybody maybe want to become a kids yoga teacher, but if you have an intention, you should write your intention. Why this course is important for you, why this training is important for you. What are you going to take away from this? Because then when you complete this training, you are more clearer, right? But if you intend to become, say, kids yoga teacher like me, I've been doing this for last 10 years. I can share from my own journey why this journey is what this journey means for me. After consistently working with children for last 10 years, I think there is a lot of fulfillment which I get. I was also in the corporate job for like around 20 years. I was in the media industry. I've never hated my job. I've always liked my job. But I think I got a lot of enjoyment and fulfillment working with children. So I think that's one of the takeaway I can share, that becoming a kid yoga teacher has this experience for me. And another thing is, now whether you become a kids yoga teacher or not, I think the whole knowledge that you're getting from here can contribute to the numerous challenge which children face today. Like as the children grow, pressure from academics, overload of technology, pressure from peer pressure, social pressure. So you can, in that capacity, even though you don't teach them formally, suppose kids yoga, if you do, it's good. You can still give them these tools of mindfulness, breathing, to them to handle these things. Um, and then I think if you start to teach yoga to kids, I can assure you it adds a lot of joy to our own life. And I think at the end of the day, you are through this training, and if you end up sharing this with children, you are actually, I feel, empowering children with the tools of breathing, stillness, mindfulness from the beginning. So, which is, I think, a very valuable thing, that we are able to make a positive impact from very young age. And I think another thing is like, which I've written in the end, maybe it's subtle. Obviously, everybody has come to learn something for children, but everything that you're going to learn in this training is actually first for you, right? So the breathing activities that we will do is first for you. If our own breath is not relaxed and we're trying to relax children, then you will see it is not it's not going to happen in a way we are projecting. Like we say, oh, I read deep breathing supposed to help children, but first check in with your breath. How is your breath when you are with children, right? So everything will come in practice before we have to do this on ourselves. That's why this whole training is like a personal transformation for, even for you or for anyone who's taking this training, right? So yeah. So I think concluding is like, just to conclude whatever I have shared so far, like learn and unlearn. That means that we come with a lot of things in our mind which we are already aware maybe. But I think working with children, we have to unlearn few things. If you think that what you have learned so far is not going to work, suppose example, anybody who's coming from yoga teaching background to adults, we might realize we might have to unlearn few things and then learn it for children. So that's important. Don't come with any baggage. Otherwise, we'll not be able to grow. We have to observe a lot when you're working with children. You have to build a connection with children. In this training, you build connection with others. And I think most importantly, try to enjoy the training, enjoy the journey that you are going to take this. And children, then yoga, teaching yoga to children will become very enjoyable. Otherwise, it will be like a task. And if it is a task or if it's a work, then it doesn't work. If every day is like, my God, what am I into? So we have to enjoy, right? Yeah. Hello, Miloni. Hello. Yeah. So, hi, we just do a little bit of practice, just 15 minutes. And now I'm just sharing something I just started from here. And we just did two
Okay.
slides here. Okay. Cool. So,
All
we,
right.
sure. Yeah. So, I'm just sharing how, just to conclude whatever I've shared about the training, I'm just sharing that as a part of this journey, learn and unlearn. Like, if we come with a lot of we all have come with a lot of experience working with children or maybe doing yoga. So I was just saying that sometimes we have to unlearn certain things to grow, right? This happens a lot when people are used to, suppose, practicing yoga themselves or teaching yoga to others or any preconceived notions we have for children also. A lot of people have preconceived notions, say, for example, for teenagers. I'm just giving an example, right? Or preconceived notions of children are very naughty. Children don't listen. So I would say just come with a open mind to hear and try to see if you can apply these things and if it helps, right? And as a part of the training, of course, try to be present. I think it's a mutual journey. As you learn from me, I also learn from you. So basically, at the end, we are trying to build a community of kids yoga teachers. We already have, I think, more than 300 teachers who have certified. So it's a community that is really growing. And all of them are, most of them, I would say, are successfully teaching yoga, mindfulness to children also. Okay. So as a part of this training, you have these resources that you can check. You have an ebook, which I already emailed. You have access to content resources. So when the training is ending, I would give you an access to a starter kit for your journey. Like you will have lesson plans in that, you will have meditation scripts in that, you will have yoga games, so that when you start, suppose, teaching to children, you have something to go back to and you don't feel lost. If this can be valuable resource to start your journey. I have a very active YouTube channel dedicated to yoga for kids. If you want to ever see Bliss Yoga Kids, I put there. And then we have a support social media group. If you are on Facebook, I can add you there later after the training is done.